Hi, good afternoon again. I'm Lisa Nickerson, the CEO of Nickerson, a full-service PR and marketing agency in Boston and in Miami. And I want to thank you for joining us for day 3 of Lunch with Lisa. Many of you are making a habit of this, so you must be getting some really good information. And the idea was that we have positive information that helps refresh our brain. And as we've been doing every day, I want to start our chat here with our poll. And this is the same poll that I'm going to have every day. And that is, how are you managing working from home? And it's live right now. We're going to keep it up for just a couple minutes. And it starts with, I love it. I hope I can work from home forever. And believe it or not, I've been talking to a lot of people who are loving working from home. Some, it's working pretty well for now, and others, I can't wait to get back to the office. So we'll shut that down a couple minutes because we have a couple of more polls that JT has for us. And I'd like to introduce JT O'Donnell. She just jumped on. JT is the founder and CEO of workitdaily.com, the #1 online career coaching service. The company has thousands of clients in over 16 countries and is the first and only career coaching provider with its own phone app, giving members 24/7 access to their career coaches. JT is also a well-known career advisor who provides daily job search and career tips on LinkedIn, Instagram, and TikTok. So this whole online video thing is right up your alley. You were ready to go for this, and I'm so thrilled to have you on. So thank you. And I just want to tell the group real quick, JT and I met because JT was on the board of Make-A-Wish, and I have my star that always sits on my desk. This is how we met, was when I was doing fundraising for Make-A-Wish, and she gave me a Wish Influencer Star for my fundraising in 2018. And so anyway, I just want to add that. We will have a link that goes in chat so that if people want to donate to Make-A-Wish, you can do that in our follow-up email. So JT, take it away.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And thank you for mentioning the charity, which is near and dear to my heart. People often wonder why that's the charity that I choose. And it's because I'm all about this idea of the power of positive thinking, and that it truly can change outcomes. And we've seen it time and time again in the kids and the wishes we grant. I mean, think about the biggest wish you've ever had in your life. And right now, with everything that's going on in the world, all of us need to be dreaming big right now, thinking positively. But these kids, when their biggest dreams are realized, miracles happen, right? Wishes are medicine. So I appreciate you sharing that.
Great. So tell us, everybody that's on right now, and the way I told people or why to come in was that you may have a job right now. And for those of us who still have jobs, they may have pivoted a little bit. You may be doing more than you anticipated, different types of jobs. You're really pitching in, you're trying to make it work. Others have lost their jobs, or they've been furloughed for now. And some people really aren't sure where they're going to be over the next few weeks and few months. So this is your floor, JT. So
yeah. So for me, I think the message I want people to understand is that every single person is feeling something right now, and there's some sort of anxiety attached to it. And what we really want to do is help people understand it and give them some context around it. So for me, I've been talking to everybody lately about the idea of career grief and how it follows the 5 stages. Kubler-Ross's stages of grief is a classically known psychology tool. And if you adapt it to career, it's absolutely no different, right? Whether it's job loss, or you lost your peers, right? They got laid off, you didn't, survivor's guilt, or maybe you were in the position where you had to lay someone off, you're a manager or an owner. All of this, every single person is affected and is dealing with loss in some way right now. And that's just within career. Let's not even begin to talk about the fact that we have so many people who are sick, we're concerned for health-wise. So lots of loss going on right now, and understanding where you are in that process is important. But you also need to work yourself through the process as quickly as possible, because the message I want people to understand is that when we come out on the other side of this, work as we know it is going to be very different. And you need to be game on. You need to have your head in the right place. And that will not happen until you've gone through the stages of grief. So I think we have a poll today, right? We're able to pull up. But I wanted to do it.
So let me wrap up the one that we have open right now.
Good. So you should, go ahead.
People, for one more second, if you haven't taken the poll, please take the poll. You know, when we were talking about that, getting your head in the right place too, we were talking earlier about the news and how much the news influences us. And when we are just bombarded with negativity and political arguing right now, and sort of this fear of what could happen, that's actually having a real effect on our ability to pivot and our ability to be our best going into our career. So I want to touch on that. Right now, I'm looking at 20% of you are loving working from home. 24% are loving working from home and hope they can work forever. That number has actually gone up. I think that's interesting. Are people starting to get used to this? 62% are saying it's working well for now, and only 14% today are saying they can't wait to get back to the office. This is a big switch in 3 days. So I'm going to close out this poll. I think that's interesting. And I'm going to put what stage of career grief are you in? So do you want to talk about this one?
I do. And we'll talk about those stats you just had in a second too. So folks, let's go through it. Denial is when you're saying everything's fine, everything's going to be okay. I just don't want to think about this right now. Then there's obviously when you get to anger. This is not fair. I don't deserve this. I did everything they told me to do, and look at what's happening to me. Then you move into bargaining, where at that point you're desperate. You're saying, just tell me what to do. Anything I need to do to make things better right now, I'll just do it. Sort of frenzy mode.
Yeah.
Then you're going to fall into. This is where you start to feel the most hopeless and helpless, right? I can't think of anything else to do. I'm completely stuck. I can't get myself out of it. And then finally, we land in acceptance. And acceptance is a place where we own what's happened to us. And that doesn't mean we're taking blame. Let me be clear on that. I'm not saying you did anything wrong. It's more just saying I own where I am today. It is what it is. Things have happened. I can't go back and change them. I can't go back and make different choices. All I can do is move forward from here and make the best possible choices and take the best possible actions going forward. Right. Now, that's where we all want to be on the other side of this. But you will not get there until you move yourself through all of these stages. And what will happen is that people will get stuck in a certain stage, and that will hold them back from having their best mental self. And I think, let's go back to your poll. Yeah. People are getting comfortable working from home because they're not dealing with the workplace drama. People aren't all that excited about going back because they know there's going to be more work and a lot of stress, and they're going to be around people who are stressed. Right. So a lot of us are in denial and cocooning at home and thinking working from home is the greatest thing in the world right now because it's sheltering us from that negativity. But we are going to have to address that. We're all going to have to go back to that. So this is what I mean about going through those grief stages.
I think that I've gotten to the point of enjoying not commuting every day. I mean, I think there are some benefits, right? And until I decided to do a webinar every day, I can't say that I was blowing out my hair and doing my makeup every day either. So, I think that there's some benefits. Yeah, I'm looking at the poll right now. We do have a number of responses. 67% of our listeners and attendees here are in acceptance, is what they're saying. Wow. That's a big number. 13% are in depression, 19% are in bargaining. No one in denial and anger. So this is a hell of a group we've got here. They're moving through here. And JT, they want to know what they need to do next. So I'm going to get one more minute and then I'm going to close this one out. But all right, keep rolling.
Let's talk about that. Let's go right to it. So folks, the best thing you can do right now is take action to feel a sense of control. So whether you're in a job right now or you're out of a job, I don't care. You need to make sure that you have your resume in good working order, your LinkedIn profile fully optimized so that you can be found. Yeah. Some form of an introduction letter or cover letter that shares who you are as a person and what you're passionate about. Sure. And an interview bucket list, a list of 10 or 20 companies that you know hire for your skill set that should you need to mobilize, you could easily get your networking game on. In fact, you could be networking now with those companies in order to have those networking relationships in place should you need to start looking for work. These are 4 basic things that you need to jumpstart any job search. And the reality is every job is temporary. No job is there forever. So why not get these things in great shape and have them ready at a snap? Because again, should something happen and you be blindsided, you're going to go, but look what I did.
Right.
Action, right? I was proactive and now I'm ready to mobilize. If you get blindsided, the last thing you're going to feel like doing is going, oh my gosh, now I have to do my resume and my LinkedIn profile and I've got to reach out to people and I don't have a job. The whole thing is far less effective after that event versus before.
When on Monday, we had Julie Brown talking about networking and your network and connecting with people right now via video and how we're doing it differently. She talked a lot about getting recommendations on LinkedIn so that people, when they're just coming to your profile, they could see them right there. Probably easier to do that while you're employed than when you're unemployed would be my guess. What's your opinion on that one?
100%. Plenty of studies show it is easier to get a job and get references when you have a job. So you should be doing that stuff right now.
Sure. And then if you've been let go, what would your suggestion then would be with your LinkedIn and these things? If we haven't been thinking about those, we were in a really safe place. I mean, for a lot of people, I mean, and a lot of companies, 2 months ago, we were in a very safe, comfy place. So this is a big shift for a lot of people.
That is. And so getting your LinkedIn profile keyword optimized is the most important thing. The 5 or 6 skill sets that recruiters would search on for somebody like you need to be all over your LinkedIn in very key places: your headline, your about section, in your work history, and in your skills and endorsements. So you need to keyword optimize, just like a search engine. The most relevant things get found in a search engine. LinkedIn works the exact same way. So that would be one of the first things I would do if I was between jobs. And the other thing I would tell you to do is never say between jobs, unemployed, actively seeking opportunities. Never put that in your headline. Never put that in your profile. And that's because recruiters naturally have bias against people that are unemployed. So the moment you do that and they see that in the search results, they're going to skip over you. So you don't need to put that anywhere in there.
Oh, that's a really, really good point. I'm going to wrap up this poll. 70% are at acceptance, 12% depression, 18% bargaining, no anger, denial. So keeping that in mind, we're going to continue to roll.
All right. So next poll, do we have time for one more poll? Because I want to see how many people have all of these things done: resume, cover letter, LinkedIn profile, interview bucket list, and interview prep for that matter. So let's see how many people have all of these things good to go right now. If you're in acceptance, I feel good about this.
Yeah. How many career tools do you have ready? Resume, LinkedIn profile, cover. Yep. Okay. So I'm going to submit. Well, actually, okay, hold on a second. Here we go. One of the questions people are talking about is the depression stage being tough and pulling through it. Now I'm full steam ahead. For people who are sort of stuck in that place, any recommendations there?
Yeah. The Pomodoro technique is probably one of the best known ways to deal with that.
Okay. So I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah, grab your phone, put a 5-minute timer on there and say, I'm going to do this one job search activity for 5 minutes. That's it. If I still feel crappy at the end of 5 minutes, I am entitled to stop. But if I feel okay, I'll do a little bit more. And schedule these 2 or 3 times throughout the day and just say, all I have to do is 5 minutes right now. That's it. For some strange reason, our brains are able to handle that because we know we have an out in 5 minutes. But most people, once they get into the groove, they keep on going. And this is how you'll start to train yourself into that habit. Before you know it, you'll want to do these things.
I think that's something, and I'm watching again, the chats come up. I think that's a great thing for work too. Sometimes we have to do things that we just don't want to do. And if I give myself a time block, then I'm like, okay, I can do it. And it's amazing how much faster you do things too when you give yourself that time block. Another really good question. If you aren't employed, do you rely on unemployment dates? I'm going to say no to that because I will immediately I will immediately take out a candidate if I find a discrepancy on their LinkedIn. So what do you do if you're not employed on your LinkedIn?
Never lie about them. It's really easy for them to do a check and find out for sure. You will be not only disqualified to be blacklisted from the company. Instead, you need to focus on answering the question, why did you leave your last job? This is an answer that we need to have. And we call it the experience, learn, and grow method for answering it. So what you do is you explain very factually your experiences. Don't get subjective. Don't blame games. Talk about what happened. Talk about what you learned. And talk about how you grew from that experience and end on a positive note. And you learn that, you rehearse it till you are so comfortable with it. So when they say, why did you leave your last job? Or why did you get let go? Or why were you fired? Your first response is, I'm glad you asked that question, with a big smile on your face. Because any employer that sees you answer that way go, well, this is a different response than I thought I was going to get. Their ears open up. And now you tell them this answer that really maps it out for them. When you've got that under control, you'll have so much more confidence. Literally, that question will be done, gone, moved on.
Yep. And, to add to that, I'm always surprised at people who will tell me horror stories about their past employment, their boss, how unfair things were for them. I'm sure you hear that all the time. Want to speak to that just real briefly, because I'm sure back to as much as everybody is in acceptance in this group, and I'm glad that everybody is moving straight through here. When you're interviewing for your next job, you're going to want to say, I was here, I was there, and then I was let go. And this is why it was unfair that I was let go. Right. Like,
what we're taught in HR is anything we hear in the interview, multiply it by 10 times, and that's what we're going to get for an employee. So if you are negative in that interview, multiply that by 10, and that's what I'm going to get for an employee. We're not going to hire people with that mindset because it's a victim mentality. And it means if you're blaming and throwing your former employer under the bus and you're not taking any accountability, then you're going to do the same thing in our organization. And that's why people won't hire you. So you've got to get through that. It's got to get out of all your vocabulary. You've had positive experiences in work and you've had powerful experiences, not negative, powerful. Speak to the power. What did they teach you? How did you get better as a result? That's what we want to hear.
That's awesome. I love that you're so straightforward about that. We are career tools that they have on the ready. 30% have a resume. 31% have LinkedIn. Come on, guys. That's all we've talked about all week. 17% have a cover letter. 10% have an interview bucket list. 12% interview prep. So it sounds like we're going to have you back because it looks like we've got some work to do here with this group. We're trying to keep it tight. We have 10 more minutes. I will let you continue on your agenda. Go ahead.
Well, let's hit on that. So, okay, let's talk priority. My first step, believe it or not, is going to tell you to work on the resume and get it optimized with white space. So quick trick here. Recruiters spend about 6 to 13 seconds on your resume. If you've got a ton of text on there, tiny font, all this fancy formatting, it will not get read and they will not absorb you. In fact, studies show if there's too much on your resume, you look like a narcissist and you look desperate. So the trend right now on resumes is lots of white space, clean, basic, and simple. Once you've done the resume and you've optimized it, it's much easier to update your LinkedIn profile. And I'll give you a little quick tip. A lot of people don't know this, that if you optimize your LinkedIn profile correctly, you can go up to the button in the upper right and click on it and turn your LinkedIn profile into a PDF. And they embedded Microsoft's technology for resumes in there. So it literally turns your LinkedIn profile into a resume, instant resume. Wow. So these are a couple things you can be doing right now. Same thing with interview prep and all the other things that I've talked about today. And I think you've put a resource link in, but just so you all know, we have free resources on all of this over at Work It Daily. So you can download PDFs, there's video tutorials, because these are the basics. So just pick one, don't get overwhelmed. Wherever you think you want to start, resume or LinkedIn, start there, perfect one, move on to the next one. Use the Pomodoro technique to do it. But I'm telling you, this is not brain surgery. It's not rocket science. You can have everything updated in a matter of hours if you just sit down and get it done. And you're going to feel so much better in the event something happens.
With that, when you're doing that, you're sharing your greatness with LinkedIn, right? You're sharing all of the good things that you've done. I also encourage people, you may have gotten an award. It might have something to do with your work or a team that you're on, or I've run the Boston Marathon. I put that on there. Different things that also align yourself with people. They think, oh, that's really interesting. If you've run a marathon or you've done PMC or something like that, that tells me something about who you are. So I always encourage people to put all these good points on. And when you're doing it, you're feeling pretty good about yourself because you're right in front of you looking at all of your accomplishments. Rena Pesselman from my office just put up a really good question in the chat about resumes with their own branding and personality. Now, we're a creative agency, so we get a lot of resumes that have a creative look to them. Thoughts on that? We're seeing more and more of it.
Yeah. So my advice is no. You can have a creative portfolio and you can reference for people to go over there. The problem with creative resumes is they're very distracting. So remember this, a recruiter is a technical buyer. The way they get graded on their job is by how good a job they do of bringing someone to the hiring manager who has the exact skill sets they were told to look for. So they need to be able to go through your resume quickly and go check, 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 check. He or she has 6 or 7 things I was told to look at. They will now be viewed by my manager as a good candidate. So when you create all that fancy stuff, you're making it very hard for them to assess you. And candidly, what they do is they put it in another pile and they look at the easier ones to read. It's just human nature, right? They're under the gun, they're looking at hundreds, sometimes thousands now resumes coming in. They have to screen you out. So keep it clean and simple. Reference that you have a portfolio. Let them dial in to the key stuff that they need so that they can say, ooh, this looks like an interesting candidate. Maybe I should give them a call.
Yep, perfect. Now, what if you haven't been let go? What if you are still working and you're working your tail off right now? I've talked to a lot of friends of mine who own businesses, and they are struggling. They don't know what's going to happen really with the CARE Act. Are they going to be able to keep on all these people? And depending, I think, on how this CARE Act works is sort of what happens next, right? Yeah. So a lot of people are really apprehensive about where they are in their career or their jobs. What would you suggest for people who are still working?
So if you're still working, you've got to focus on self-care. Don't get too burnt out. Again, mentally stay in a good place. At the same time, imagine when this is over, because folks, this is going to end. In a couple months, we're going to be through the COVID part of this. After that, we're not sure how many months with this, but a lot of people are talking about this recession being a V. It'll go deep for a short amount and then we'll go straight back up. My belief is constraint brings opportunity. So think about the future. What do you want? What could your career look like? And start thinking about how you can prepare your tools and your networking so that can support it. What companies do you think are going to explode as a result of this? Remember, things like this, There are a lot of companies suffering, but out of this will come so many new opportunities, new business ideas, a lot of good stuff. So you have to start thinking and dreaming, like we talked about in the very beginning of this session. Dream big while you can. That will help you stay positive, and then do what you can to prepare yourself to take advantage of what's about to come. Because I promise you, when we get over the worst of it, there will be a lot of opportunity, and only the people totally prepared will be able to take advantage of it.
Well, with that, I want to give some kudos to my team. I know some of them are on right now, and some are actually on a client webinar right now. But we pivoted very quickly. We saw an opportunity that people were saying, I'm tired of all the negative. And by halfway through the day, they were drained, and everyone's really tired because it's just everyone's overthinking right now, right? And I said, let's do something midday. And the amount of work it took to pull this together in under a week, the graphics, the back end, the booking people, it was a lot of work, but it gave me an opportunity to see who could really hustle and who could really step up. And everybody really got it pulled together. And we got on a Teams video after our first one, and we were like cheering. It was like this huge win for the company. And you said it to me. You wouldn't have done this webinar had this not happened. And it's creating tremendous opportunity for not only us, but I think a lot of other people too. And it gives me the opportunity to put you on, and Julie Brown and Terry Trespicio tomorrow, and really great people. So I'm looking, we've got 4 minutes left. I just want to make sure that if anybody has any questions, that you get them out there. I did have one other question. Rena, you're asking a lot of questions on this chat, so you're not going anywhere. Don't worry. How many bullets per position is too many on a resume?
Oh, fantastic question. So listen, if you were at a company less than 3 years, 3 bullet points, 3 to 5 years, 5 bullet points, anything over 5 years, 7 bullet points max. Okay. Your bullet points, almost all of them should have a number in them. You need to quantify yourself as much as possible. So put your bullet points together and then circle every noun and say, can I quantify that? Look at all your verbs and say, is that a percentage of growth? What is it? The more numbers in bullet points, the better. It's much easier for recruiters to understand you. And again, limit it. Don't tell them everything you've ever done. Recruiters will tell you they want a lot of information on a resume, but that's only because it makes it easier to screen you out. So don't put it all on there. Just put the relevant info just enough. It's like marketing copy. It needs to be a teaser. They need to go check. Oh, there's good stuff here, but I don't have enough. So I guess I'm going to have to call that person. This is how you get the interview. Far too many people are overkilling the resumes right now. Too many bullet points, too much text, and they're screening themselves out as a result.
Yeah, I see a lot of tasks they did in a job versus like the accomplishment or the responsibilities. I want to know, what were you responsible for and what did you accomplish? And so I think that's a good one. Someone said it sounds like a dating profile. A little bit, a little bit. Yeah, but don't put a picture of you with your fish. I don't know.
Totally.
For those of you who've ever done an app, you know what I mean. Someone's saying, I love the quantifier results. That's great. Hypothetically, you are extremely interested in an open position with a company. Do you reach out and make as much contact as possible, or do you wait it out and hope you are pulled from other applicants? Good question.
Absolutely, you contact people. 3% of people that apply online ever get a call. The applicant tracking system is designed to toss you out. Most of the time, your resume's never even been seen by a human eye. So apply online, but immediately start to use your network. Go to LinkedIn, find everybody you know that knows somebody there. Reach out to them, tell them why you admire the company, why do you respect their product, their service, what is it about it that makes you feel part of their tribe, and ask if they'd be willing to introduce you. And do that as much as you possibly can, because right now on LinkedIn, everyone's so busy. You're lucky if 4 in 5 people respond to you. So it's going to be a numbers game. But you have got to get your foot in the door some way, somehow, so that you can get your resume pulled from the file.
What's the one thing you tell people to not put on their resume?
Words like, I'm a proven leader. You never call yourself a leader. Only other people call you leader. Don't say you're proven, you're high performing. Don't use all that subjective text. It sounds so salesy. And recruiters are snarky. They're like, really? Says who? Says you? You've got to scrub all that out and just stick to the facts.
You know, for those who are maybe just out of school watching this right now, or about to graduate, or have kids that are about to graduate, and you've just put $200,000 into a college education, and your kids need a job now. I tell people, do not put seeking entry level position. That's another, I'm like blown away. Like, well, good. I've got an entry level one right here. I was thinking about you for this one. So that's another one. I always say, don't put that. Best route to get to someone to introduce you to reach out if you don't have a direct link to the company.
If you don't, then you should find somebody that would be in the same department as you. So go find everybody that works at the company, look at their profiles and find some point of commonality. Did you go to the same school, right? Did you study the same thing in college? Or would they be in the department you'd be interested in? And then do a customized introduction where you say, hey, we haven't met, but here's why I'm connecting with you. Can we connect? And so we actually have instructions on how to do that if you go over to the resource page, but you should be doing that. People say, oh, what if they reject me? Who cares? It doesn't matter. Right now, it's about you getting in touch with someone. A lot of times they're looking at your profile and going, oh, this might be a good person to recommend. They get credit for bringing a great candidate to the position. So people will take a look and they will accept your connection requests. Not all of them, just get over the fear, but you never know. All it takes is just one shot.
Right. Well, we're at 25 minutes and I want to thank you for your time. I want to actually thank my parents who are both on again today. And I just want to say to everybody, if you haven't reached out to your parents, make sure that you're calling and saying hi and making sure they're okay, and check in with your siblings and your family, because we're a little bit all in the same boat. And, so that's super important. I hope everyone's staying safe and healthy, and I'm glad everyone's enjoying these webinars. Thank you so much for coming on. And everybody, again, the resources are here. We've been putting the links up, and reach out to JT directly if there's something she can help you with. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.